Every man needs a purpose, and as a men's coach, these are the top 5 mistakes I see men consistently make that prevent them from getting there. Out of all the men I've worked with, clients, family, friends, partners, the men who were happiest were the ones who had a clearly defined purpose. So why is it most men actually struggle finding a purpose? It seems to be their lifelong journey. Well, after 4 years of coaching and working with men, we've really narrowed this down to a science, and these are the top 5 mistakes I see men make on their journey to finding their purpose. The number 1 mistake, and the most common, is using their partner as a purpose. Often when men feel lost, they externalize their achievements, and purpose is just a grandiose way of saying big problem to solve that helps a lot of people. So if a man doesn't have a lot of direction or guidance on his internal purpose, he will externalize it and usually find his partner. Now, where this can be really detrimental is his partner is just one person who's constantly changing and is relying on him to be a lover, not necessarily a problem solver. This hurts the relationship in a multitude of ways. First, he sees her almost as a problem to solve or a problem to fix. So when he's always jumping in, being the hero, saving her, he actually inhibits her from learning her own lessons, feeling her own pain. So he actually partners with what keeps her down. He creates a codependency with her where she always has to rely on him to solve things just so that he can feel the validation from solving her problem. This is something that just causes resentment from both parties because you're fulfilling on needs that she may not even need you to, while abandoning yourself, the person that she fell in love with in the first place. Meanwhile, then you feel resentful because you feel like she's not appreciating everything that you've done for her, everything that you've changed for her, and it just gets really, really messy when you try to make your partner your purpose. The next mistake I see men making is doing what they feel like they should do instead of doing what they actually want to do. A lot of men are born with a lot of creativity, with exploration, with adventure, with danger. They have a lot of interests and hobbies, but as they get older, they fall into the narrative that you have to go to college so you can get money to support a family, to be the breadwinner, to be the sole provider. And getting lost in that stigma and in that chaos, there's a lot of pressure on them that they need to fulfill, where they then go ahead and abandon that childlike wonder, that childlike adventure, and they kind of just put their own joy and hope aside in order to fill this role and narrative that they've grown up in. Similarly, you may also feel pressure from family. They're expecting you to be a doctor or a lawyer or join the family business. Whatever it is, you're feeling this external pressure to not be able to do what you want, to not be who you are. I'm sure that you've heard the saying, there's no money in that looks stupid, or, they used to say things like, that looks gay, to try to shame you. Our society is definitely changing a lot when it comes to things like that, being more open, being more accepting. But if you're a man in this day and age, chances are you grew up hearing things like this that made you feel like going after what you wanted made you less of a man. So this takes a big toll on men when they're trying to search for their purpose because they're constantly fighting this logic versus intuition. This is what everybody says I should do. This is what society says I should do. This is what's going to make me look good versus this is what I'm drawn towards. This is what I could do for free. This is what I feel like could really help change the world, but maybe there's no money here. And it's finding that balance. It's having the courage to cross those lines that's really going to help you bridge that gap and find your purpose. Also, don't forget, if you are a man who's struggling to find his purpose and you want a step-by-step guide, you want some help, you want some accountability, don't forget to click the link down below to get my free guide on how to start your mental health journey and watch my other videos on how to find a purpose. The next mistake I see men do so often when trying to find their purpose is thinking that accomplishments will give you a sense of purpose. I've worked with men who have 3 master's degrees, tons of executive awards, books published, you name it, and they are still not satisfied. They keep hungering for more, and not hungering for more in a positive way, desperately hungering for more, starving for more, because they have this empty void that they keep trying to fill with trinkets and accolades, validation and accomplishments, and it's just not working. If you're someone who constantly externalizes his purpose, you have become addicted to the temporary dopamine rush of achievement. This is like eating candy versus eating a protein bar. One is a burst of energy versus one is long lasting and sustaining. It's coming from the external world. And because you never know what you're going to get, you never know how people are going to react, all you can do is kind of guess. It's also an adrenaline rush that you've done so much work, and now you're seeking the validation for everything that you've accomplished. And this is why the energy rush or the fulfillment never lasts very long, because if somebody doesn't react the way you want, or you don't get as long of applaud as you want, as long of accolades as you want, people aren't as impressed as you had expected, you have put all of these expectations, these subconscious expectations on how people are going to associate you having achieved this thing. And so when they don't show up, you just get very disappointed because usually they don't show up in the way that your brain imagined. Diving deeper into this, when I see men struggle with this a lot, it's often an attempt to validate their worthiness. If you feel like you can't go without achieving something, without getting to the next level, without accomplishing the next task, you're really just looking for that external validation that you are enough. If you were secure enough, if you had enough self-esteem, you wouldn't need to accumulate XYZ awards over and over and over again. Of course, it's different if you're achieving the thing and having fun, if you're going along the journey, if it really means something to you. But if you're just getting the award to get the award, and I know that some of you are hearing this and resonating with this, and it doesn't feel good to you, it feels like, kind of got to go to the next thing. What it is you're trying to validate your worthiness on this earth because you haven't felt that internally yet. The next mistake I see men make when they are looking for their purpose is using purpose as their identity or assuming their purpose is their identity. I see so many men achieve a lot of things, do what they love, and then 20 years later, they kind of want to switch it up, and now they don't know who they are anymore because they said, this was my purpose, this is what I'm doing for life, and now all of a sudden, they feel like they don't know who they are. It's a myth that purpose has to be singular. It doesn't just have to be one thing. It can grow, it can expand, it can change, because you grow and expand and change, which is why one of the last mistakes I see men make when searching for purpose is thinking that it's something to find instead of a way of being. A huge realization many of my clients have is that their purpose is not their job title, it's not what they do, it's not who they're with, it's what they are doing on purpose. It's how purposeful they're living and being and how present they are. Just like happiness is not the destination, purpose is also not the destination. They're all journeys, they're all intertwined. And the more present you are, the more on purpose you are, the happier you'll be, the better at whatever activity you're doing will be. And that's when people say, you were meant for this, you were made for this is your purpose, because you will be glowing. And that's why people can transition from career to career to career, glowing in each thing, because they are the purpose. They take the energy with them. They make whatever career they're doing great. They make it thrive. They make the people around them thrive. So if you can harness that energy and live on purpose, purpose will be with you no matter where you go, no matter what you do. Now, at this point in the video, you may be wondering what action steps you can take to find your purpose or defeat some of these blocks that you may have resonated with or run into. And you can do that by watching one of these videos or clicking the link down below to get your free mental health guide. And I will see you next time.